Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video I will show you how to join multiple tables using web API and later consume in MVC. And here we got the final output. Notice the header tag, join multiple tables using web API in MVC. In the table, the column country comes from the country table, and the state column from the state table, and the city column from the city table. These three tables I have joined in a single table using web API. This is a web API I have consumed in MVC and display records in this table. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a project in web API to join multiple tables, first we'll check the tables in SQL Server Management Studio. For this example, I have taken three tables. One is a country, and the second table is a state, and the third table is a city. The country table contains two columns, CID and CNAME, whereas the state table contains three columns, SID which is a state ID, SNAME is a state name, and CID is a country ID. If you notice in the state table and in the country table, the common column names are CID and CID. And in the city table contains three columns, city ID, city name, and SID is the last column. In the city table and state table, the common column names are SID. Now let's create a project in web API. For this video tutorial, I am creating a new web API application. Go to File, New, Project, and from the web templates, I am selecting ASP.NET Web Application and the .NET Framework. I am using 4.6.1. The application name is Join Tables Web API is the project name. Click OK. And from the web templates, I'm selecting web API. Click OK. And the project is created successfully. Let's close this default window. Now let's open Solution Explorer. First, in this project, I'm adding ADO.NET Entity Model. Right click the project name, add. I'm selecting ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Let's give the model item name Join Tables is an entity model name. Click OK. And from the model contents, I'm selecting the first option, EF Designer from database. Click Next. Let's create a new connection. Here I'm adding my SQL Server name. After adding SQL Server name, now I'm selecting the database name. The tables I have created, the country, state, and city in the sample DB. So sample DB is a database. I'm selecting that one. Test connection is succeeded. OK. And here we got our connection string. And the connection string name is a sample DB entities, and I'm saving this connection string in the web.config file. Click Next. Let's select the tables from the database. I'm expanding the tables folder as well as DBO. The table names are city, country, and state. I have selected three tables, country, state, and city. Click Finish. And here the tables, let's close this output message box. Here the tables are added the entity model into the entity models, country, state, and city. So after that, let's create a class in this models folder, minimize the references folder. I'm creating a class in this models folder. Right click the models, add, class. The class name I'm giving join class add. Now in this join class I'm adding properties public. The table name is country. I'm adding the table name get country get set. The next table name public state is a table name get states get set. And the last one is a public city table get cities get and set properties. After that, let's open Solution Explorer. Now I'm adding a new controller, Web API controller, in this controllers folder. Right click the controllers folder, add controller. I'm selecting that one, and from the controller I'm selecting the Web API 2 controller empty, add. The controller name is join multiple tables is a controller name, Web API controller name, add. And here we got our controller join multiple tables. Now in this controller first I'm importing the join tables Web API, the project name .models folder. After that, in this API controller public HTTP action result, the action result method name get tables is a method name. The method name must be always prefixed with get. After that, I'm adding sample DB entities. Sample DB entities is my connection string entity. SD is an object. New sample DB entities. After that, I'm adding the list class. In this list, the T type, the type of the element is a table name, which is a country. L country is an object. sd.countries.toList method. The same thing, I'm adding the state. The T type is a state. L state is equals to sd.states.toList method. List class, the T type is a city, object is lcity is equals to sd.cities.toList method. Now the query I'm adding to join multiple tables. For that I'm declaring a variable query is equals to from C is an object in L country. In country and state tables, the common column name is a CID. So let's join in ST in L state on C dot. C is this object dot. Notice when I dot, I got the column names from the country table. So I'm selecting CID equals st dot this object name. Once I got st dot, and notice I got the column names from the state table. I'm adding CID into table 1. The results from these two tables I'm adding into this alias table 1 from st in table 1 dot default if empty. The same functionality, I'm joining the tables from the state and city tables. So let's copy this one. So join city is a city table in the object lcity on st dot SID I'm adding equals city dot SID into the alias table name table2 from ct in table2 dot default empty. Now select a new. I'm adding my joining class, join class. In this join class we have a properties get country, get state and get cities. Get country dot is equals to C comma get states is equals to st comma and get cities is equals to this city object, semicolon, and return OK method. In this OK method I am adding this variable query. That's it. We have written the code to join multiple tables in this API controller. Now before consume this web API into MVC controller, first we require the web API URL. So let's grab web API URL, Google Chrome, and here we got the default output of the project, which is a home page. Now we require the web API URL after the domain name, the host name, / API, the folder name, / let's add our controller name is join multiple tables. I'm adding API controller name, which is join multiple tables. Let's add that one. Enter. And here we got the output of that web API URL in the XML file format, and notice the 3 tables we got in the XML table. Now let's consume this web API in MVC. Switch to the coding part, stop debugging, open Solution Explorer. In the project controllers folder, adding MVC controller, right click the controllers folder, add controller, and this time I'm selecting MVC file controller empty, add. Let's give the controller name is join tables, is a MVC controller name, add. And here we got our controller with the action result index get method. Now in this controller I'm adding the namespaces using join tables web API dot models folder. After that I'm using HTTP client to consume the web API. So for that I'm require the namespace using system.net.http class. So after that, in this action result index IEnumerable, in this IEnumerable the out type I'm adding the join class, the class name. Let's create an object. Jesse is an object is equals to now. Now let's add the HTTP client class. S is an object is equals to new HTTP client. hc.base address is equals to new URL. URI is a method which takes a string parameter as a web URL URI. So switch back to the browser. Let's copy this web URL, the path, and add here. After that, I'm declaring a variable. After we got the web API URL address, let's consume that variable. Consume API is equals to hc dot get async method, and this get async method between double quotes I'm adding the web API controller name. semicolon, consume API dot wait method. After we consume, we read the data. Variable read data is equals to consume web API dot result property if read data dot is status code. So for that, I am declaring a variable display data is equals to read data dot content dot read as async ilist class. In this ilist, the type of the element, I am adding the join class. Display data dot wait method. After display dot wait method, I am adding this IEnumerable object JC is equals to display dot data is dot result property. In the return view is this object JC, the IEnumerable object. That's it. We have consumed the web API into this action result index. Now we require the index view page, but before adding the index view page, we must build the application first. Build solution. And here we got a message in the output message box, build succeeded. Let's close this output message box. Now let's add the view page of this action result index. Highlight the index method, right click the mouse, add view. The view name is index only. In the template, I'm selecting the list template. The model class is join class. So let's select the join class. I'm not selecting any data context class. Click add. And here we got our list template in the index view page. Now what I'm doing, I'm modifying some data. I'm deleting the p tags. I don't require this edit details and delete also. Now instead of index, I'm changing the heading and join multiple tables using web API in MVC. After that, I'm adding horizontal line. Let's add center tag. Center tag. Let's copy this center tag. I'm adding that center tag after the table closing at the bottom. Now in this table, I don't require this class. Instead of table, I'm adding border is equals to 1, and the table headers, which is a country, th, state, and the last column of the header is a city. After that, after adding the headers to this table, now in the for each loop, I'm adding at item dot, and notice here we got the get cities, get country, and get states. First I'm adding get country dot, I want to display the country name, td at item dot get states dot, from the states table I want to display state names, and the last column td at item dot get cities dot city name. That's it. We have done the complete coding part. We got our ADWord.NET entity models, so country, state, and city tables. Then I have created a class. After that, I have created the web API. In this web API, I have written the logic to join multiple tables. After that, I have created the MVC controller to consume this web API. Then the last one is the index view page to display the records. Now before run this application, the most important, we need to change the app underscore start, expand that one, route config.cs file. Notice here the controller is the home, which is a default one. I'm deleting this home. Our controller name is join tables. I'm adding the MVC controller name, which is a join tables. Let's add that one, and the action result, which is the index view page, which is this one. Now it's time to check the results on the browser, Google Chrome. And here we got the final output. Notice the header tag, join multiple tables using Web API in MVC. In the table, the column country comes from the country table, and the state column from the state table, and the city column from the city table. These three tables I have joined in a single table using Web API. This is a Web API I have consumed in MVC and display records in this table. That's it.